Thank you and welcome into this video. I would like to take you through how you can file for your employment income tax return, inclusive of the income which you earned from rental property. So this is the rental property which its income falls below the minimum sales threshold of 288,000 or above the maximum sales threshold or supremo of 15 million. So in case it falls either below the minimum or above the maximum, you are supposed to declare it when filing your annual tax return and then do the necessary deduction for the expenses. Though in this year 2026 it will not be that easy, because we know every expense which you need to net off from the income which you earn from the rental property, it must be transmitted through Teams or eTeams. So with no much ado, I'll get into the activity. What you're supposed to do basically, just enter your T number here or KRA pin here. So let me enter it here, which is 0115 403 007A. Then I'll hit continue. So you just need to come and enter your KRA password here and then do a simple mathematical computation, which is giving me a value of a 79 plus 9, giving me a value of 88. Give me a value of 88. Then I'll log in. After logging in, I need to come to where we have return. So you just come here where we have file return. So I have already filed my returns. So I'll come here where we have income tax resident. So this data will be populated of the type, the tax pin. So the tax obligation is I'm a resident individual. So I'll just click here. So in my case, it is appearing amended, but in case you are doing it for the first time, it will be original. So you just need to enter the period which is dating back is from 1st January 2025 to 31st December 2025. So what I will do, because I just need to do the required adjustment for the rental income, I will just come here and download the auto-populated ITR sheet, which is already auto-populated with the income in my P9 form, though you need to confirm the amount which is auto-populated from your income and the amount which is in your P9 form to ensure they are congruent. So from there, I'll get into the File Explorer. I'll get at a download. So you can see this is the zip file which has been downloaded now. So just click above that zip file. I come to where we have property. I'll just choose to unblock. I'll click apply and click OK. So always do this before you open any sheet with Excel for KRA, since it contains a lot of RAG. So I'll just click above this. I'll just hit about the document and choose to. I'll just first extract the document. So let me first extract the document. So let me first extract it. Then after extracting the document, you need to come here, click above the document and hit open with Excel. So it will take some time before it will open because it is already auto-populated with data. So we should just give it a maximum of 2 minutes so it is stabilized, so that we can be able to continue and do the necessary adjustment for the rental income. So let us give it time to open. So as we are giving it time, so this is so what we will be doing, it will be subject to the new KRA regulation. So in case you cannot be able to substantiate or validate the expenses which you incurred in that rental property against that income, you will not be able to deduct any expense from that revenue which you receive from the rental property. And this will be so problematic when doing the return for 2025. Since this act of validating expense was just a proposal, and then it happened it was to be implemented from 1st January 2026, and it is getting out of hand when filing those returns, because a lot of people did not do good bookkeeping of the expenses which they incurred and the revenue which they gained from their property. But we must know how we'll be able to maneuver with this. Though KRA have given us a solution of doing that. So before it open, I'll show you the solution. So in case you are not able to pass all your expenses and to make them eating compliant, what you need to do, you need to aggregate all the receipts which you have which include the expenses which were incurred in that rental property, and you need to upload them manually to the iTax portal. And to do that, what you're supposed to do, so just get back to the portal. You're supposed to come to where we have return, then come to where we have income tax return adjustment, then come to where we have manual and e-teams or teams invoices. Click here. So when you click here, let it open. So you shall just give it time to load and open this area. So this is where you'll be uploading manual and e-teams stroke teams invoices. So this is all the receipt which are containing the expenses which you had incurred for that property. So you just come here and choose the tax period is 2025, since it's the tax period which you are dealing with. Or just click next, then click OK. So when you come here, you need to download these comma saved values or CSV document which is here. So this we can open it with WPS, there is no problem. The other one is which you must open with Microsoft Excel. So don't adjust anything in the upper part, but I can maximize to show you what you need to do. So let me expand it. So what you need to enter here is the supplier pin. So in the receipt which you have, maybe you bought maybe you repaired a pump for your property, you need to enter the pin of the hardware, the name of the hardware, the invoice number of that receipt, the date and description maybe is a pump which was damaged, and the amount. And after entering all these details, so you just enter them regardless of how many they are, and then leave it at that point and upload them to the iTax portal. So when you upload them in the iTax portal, you shall just come here. So you shall just save that document. So I can save it after entering all the receipt which I need to be to adjust my income with. So let me save. So you just save like that. Then you get back to your browser. You will choose the CSV file. So you just come here, come at the download, choose this document. Then all those receipts which you have included in this CSV file, you shall upload them here and submit. And after doing that, now you can be able to claim your expenses from this sheet. So I show you where you'll be able to claim them. So you'll be able to claim them under the tax computation. Let me show you the specific area where you need to claim, but now we can get started because our document has opened. So this is the document which contains my data, since it is pre-populated. That's why it was taking long to open. So as you can see, it's already pre-populated with all my tax information. So because I need to declare rental income, which in my case falls below the set threshold of 288,000, I need to answer this question: do you have any other income? You just need to click yes. When you click yes, there will be additional sheets which will be put here, which is the profit and loss and the balance sheet. So under the profit and loss, this is where you need to come and enter the rental income. So my rental income, you need to come and input here under section 1.2. So I can assume my rental income was 150,000. That is the amount which I received from my rental property. So from there, I scroll downward to the other expenses. So in the other expenses, in previous year operating expenses, you could be able to adjust something here. But in this scenario, if that expense was not e-teams or teams validated, you will not be able to claim it. I'm repeating that because a lot of people will get themselves in this mistake and will not be able to submit your tax return. So leave that to that point. No any other adjustment you'll be able to do. So after that, you come to the balance sheet. So at our balance sheet, what you need to enter, because a lot of people do not have actually, so you cannot be able to assess the amount of capital which you have, assets and liabilities. So I usually recommend, because you are declaring your income, so you are not reporting your financial position, but rather you are declaring your operating income, which is your current status of your income. So you should just come to where we have other assets and input value 1. Come to where we have other loans and input value 1. as you know from basic accounting, asset must equal to B to the liability, which is the equity plus liabilities, which is 1. So leave it at that point. So in case you have now what I was saying, any other income, which I know a lot of people did not have actual items invoices, what you need to do basically, you just need to come to the sheet T, which is tax computation. So the rental income falls at sheet E. So you need to come to section 6, where we have manual and items stroke tips expenses. You know the receipt which I told you to upload in the portal. Now this is the time you come and claim the expenses maybe which you had incurred in your property. So we can assume you incurred expenses was 60,000. So this 60,000 will net off your profit, and now you can see your income or your profit is 90,000. So you can come with the tax computation, and after doing that, when you are good with everything, so okay, so I have the annual personal relief that have been granted to me. So this is how we usually do it. So this is how you'll be declaring your rental income from when filing your annual tax return. Maybe if it is falls below the set threshold of MRI of 288,000, which is the infimum or the supremo of 15 million. So that is how we usually do it. So nothing else you offer here, because you didn't file maybe an MRI, because withholding tax of monthly rental income, you are not subject to it. So because you are not subject to it, you cannot declare it. But the people who are filing, who usually file the MRI and they declare their income, they need to declare their income in the annually, so they can offer this relief for the monthly rental income. But that does not apply to us in case you are not doing the MRI and you are good to go. So, but when you declare your rental income, there is something which you need to fill. Under the basic information, there is something which they refer to as, it is under section 5. You will not be able to file this return in case you have not input this detail. So they ask about the tenant if the PIN of the tenant if available. So even if you fail to enter it, you will not be able to validate this sheet. We can do it practically so that you get what I'm trying to explain to you. So when you try to validate this sheet, it will give me an error which will take me back to this sheet. You can see part 5. So you need to get back to that sheet. You need to enter the TIN of the tenant. So the TIN of the tenant I usually recommend, because when doing this return, you will not be able to capture each tenant in your building. So I usually recommend you enter the TIN of the agent. So I can come here and enter the TIN maybe of the agent, or I can just repeat and input my TIN and see if it will validate. So instead of or I can get a TIN of a person who can act as an agent here. So I will take the TIN of employee here, which is here, who is my close relative. So I should just treat her like the tenant. So you just come here. So in this section, I would recommend you repeat either your TIN or the TIN of your agent or caretaker. So the name of the tenant, I can call her, let me enter her name. Okay, so just enter the name of your caretaker or your spouse, any can do. I will input my contact here, radron number. You shall put the building, so I call the building 04, road, I call it Kiambu, then city or town is Ruaka, county is Kiambu district. So this detail you must enter to be able to validate the sheet. District is what is here is called Kiambaa district. Tax area Kiambaa. Descriptive address we can avoid. PO box, we can use my PO box, which was 263. Box is G. I want G here. Gatundu. Postal code is this one. Date is from 1st January 2025 to 31st December 2025. Then the gross income was 150,000. That is the gross income from the rental property, rather than doing for each tenant, which will be time consuming. If you have like 100 units, putting them here, it would be so tedious. So I'll just do that, and then I can come and save this document. So this is how you usually do. Let me save that document, and then I can validate it. You notice that it will accept the validation now. So I don't think there is something which is pending. So we just need to generate the sheet, approve them, and submit them to the Revenue Authority. But the thing which I wanted to sync is that no expense which will be deductible from your rental income declaring annually, in case that expense is not validated via eTeam, or in case you don't have proper receipt, which you shall upload for manual validation in the iTax portal, so that you can manage to offer necessary relief for that income which you generated from rental property. So, and these usually apply for the people who the rental income falls below the set threshold of 8288 or the maximum threshold of 5 million. So if the rental income exceeds 5 million, you are supposed to declare it annually, and when you declare it, you are supposed to deduct any relevant expenses. So the sheet are already to be uploaded, so you just click yes. So what you need to do to check is where the sheet have been saved, the date and the time. So after doing that, now we can say okay and get back to the KRA server. Come to where we have file return, then come to where we have income tax resident, because that is what we are filing. Click yes. So we just do that. So we just choose the return period, which is from 1st January 2025 to 31st December 2025. So I choose the file which I need to upload under the download, under the document. So this is the recent file. Then, do you have rental property? In my case, yes. I will agree with term and condition and click submit. But this video was just a demo, so that's why I will not be submitting mine. So this is how you are supposed to declare your rental income and do the necessary adjustment when filing your annual return. So in case you have any query regarding how we are supposed to do this, or regarding any clarification about the Kenyan tax system, kindly reach me using the contact in the description. Also, you can reach me through my email anytime, any day, and we shall have a formal conversation, either face-to-face or through an online meeting, and make clarification regarding this issue of rental income filing, either the monthly rental income